Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are discussing a topic that is not only sensitive but also very important in the current geopolitical climate. There is growing speculation about whether Israel's next target could be Pakistan. This is a question that is raising alarms across the Muslim world and beyond, and it deserves a deep dive into history, current alliances, military strategies, and what the future might hold. The tension in the Middle East has always had ripple effects around the globe, but the possibility of Israel directly targeting Pakistan adds a whole new layer of complexity to global politics. To understand this possibility, we have to first look at Israel's foreign policy and its security doctrine. Since its creation in 1948, Israel has been focused on securing its borders and countering threats from surrounding countries. Over the decades, it has launched preemptive strikes against countries it saw as existential threats, such as Iraq's Mossad nuclear reactor in 1981 and alleged strikes in Syria against nuclear sites. Israel's strategy has always been to strike before a potential threat becomes too dangerous. With Pakistan being the only Muslim country with nuclear weapons, it's natural that some analysts argue that Israel could see Pakistan as a future challenge if relations between the two nations were to deteriorate further. Pakistan officially does not recognize Israel as a state, and for decades, Pakistani passports carried a statement that they were valid for travel to every country except Israel. This has been a sign of Pakistan's political stance and its support for the Palestinian cause. Over the years, there have been unofficial contacts between the two countries, often mediated by allies like the United States, but there has never been a formal diplomatic relationship. This lack of recognition is a major reason why many in Israel might see Pakistan as a potential adversary rather than a neutral power. When discussing whether Israel could ever target Pakistan, we must consider the nuclear aspect. Pakistan's nuclear weapons are seen as a deterrent not only against India, but also against any foreign intervention. Israel has a well-known policy of nuclear ambiguity, never confirming nor denying its own nuclear arsenal, but experts believe Israel has a significant stockpile. If relations between the two countries were to escalate, it could lead to one of the most dangerous standoffs in modern history. The risk of miscalculation or preemptive strikes could have catastrophic consequences. One of the key factors that could influence Israel's stance toward Pakistan is Pakistan's close relationship with Iran. Iran is Israel's main rival in the Middle East, and Tehran's nuclear program has been a source of tension for years. Pakistan has historically had a complicated relationship with Iran, but there have been times when the two countries have cooperated on defense and intelligence sharing. Some reports suggest that Iran might seek Pakistani expertise if it wanted to develop nuclear weapons. If Israel believed that Pakistan was directly helping Iran's nuclear ambitions, this could push Israel to adopt a more aggressive stance. Another factor to consider is the shifting alliances in the region. In recent years, several Arab states have normalized relations with Israel through the Abraham Accords. This has changed the geopolitical map of the Middle East. However, Pakistan has so far resisted calls to normalize relations, partly because of domestic public opinion and partly because of its strategic relationship with countries like Saudi Arabia and Turkey. If Pakistan continues to stand firmly against normalization while also strengthening ties with Iran and China, this might be seen by Israel as a long-term threat. China's involvement is crucial here. Pakistan and China are close allies, with China investing billions of dollars in the China-Pakistan economic corridor as part of its Belt and Road Initiative. China's growing influence in Pakistan means that any potential conflict involving Pakistan would automatically attract Chinese attention. Israel and China have a complicated but generally cooperative relationship, especially in trade and technology. This could act as a restraining factor, making Israel think twice before considering any hostile action against Pakistan. India's role in this scenario cannot be ignored either. Israel and India have grown closer over the past 2 decades, particularly in defense and intelligence sharing. India is now one of the largest buyers of Israeli arms, including advanced missile systems and drones. If tensions between India and Pakistan rise, Israel's support for India could be seen as indirect pressure on Pakistan. Some analysts believe that Israel might share intelligence with India about Pakistan's military infrastructure, potentially aiding India in any conflict. This triangular dynamic adds another layer of complexity to the question of whether Israel would ever directly target Pakistan. It's also important to think about the domestic situation in Pakistan. Political instability, economic challenges, and internal security threats could make the country more vulnerable to external pressure. If Israel ever wanted to weaken Pakistan, it might not need to launch a direct military strike. Cyber attacks, covert operations, and diplomatic isolation could be enough to achieve strategic goals without open warfare. Israel is known for its highly capable intelligence agency, Mossad, which has conducted numerous covert operations around the world. Pakistan would have to be vigilant against such non-traditional threats. There is also the question of international reaction. A direct Israeli strike on Pakistan would likely provoke outrage across the Muslim world and could draw in countries like Turkey, Malaysia, and even Russia, which has its own interests in the region. The United States, which is Israel's closest ally, would face a diplomatic nightmare if its ally were to attack a nuclear-armed Muslim country. Washington would likely try to prevent any such escalation, as it could destabilize the entire region and threaten global security. When looking at the military balance, Pakistan has a large conventional army, a strong air force, and a credible nuclear deterrent. Israel, on the other hand, is technologically advanced and has one of the most capable militaries in the world relative to its size. An open war between the two countries would not be easy for either side and could have devastating consequences. This mutual risk of destruction is one of the main reasons why direct conflict between Israel and Pakistan has remained unlikely. Another point worth discussing is public opinion in both countries. In Pakistan, there is strong sympathy for the Palestinian cause, and any sign of Israel targeting Pakistan would unite the nation against Tel Aviv. In Israel, public opinion is focused more on immediate neighbors like Iran, Lebanon, and Syria rather than faraway Pakistan. This means that for now, the idea of targeting Pakistan might not be a priority for Israeli decision makers unless Pakistan takes actions that are perceived as a direct threat. There have been rumors in the past about Israeli jets allegedly entering Pakistani airspace during certain regional conflicts, but these reports have never been fully confirmed. The mere fact that such rumors exist shows how deep the mistrust runs between the two nations. Some military analysts argue that these stories are exaggerated, while others claim they are warnings of what could happen in the future. In the coming years, much will depend on how Pakistan manages its foreign policy. If it seeks to play the role of a mediator between Israel and Palestine, it might open the door for cautious engagement. If, however, it adopts a more confrontational stance and strengthens alliances with Israel's rivals, the chances of confrontation could grow. At the same time, Israel's own political landscape is highly dynamic. Different governments have different approaches to foreign policy. A hardline government might be more willing to consider preemptive actions, while a centrist or left-leaning government might focus on diplomacy. This internal factor in Israel also plays a major role in determining whether Pakistan is ever seen as a real target. Ultimately, the question of whether Israel's next target could be Pakistan is not just about military capability, but about perception, alliances, and strategy. The world today is far more interconnected than it was in the past, and any major conflict would have global repercussions. Energy markets, trade routes, and international relations could all be disrupted by even a limited confrontation. For Pakistan, the best course of action might be to strengthen its defenses, maintain strong alliances, and pursue a balanced foreign policy that reduces the chances of becoming a direct target. For Israel, avoiding unnecessary enemies and focusing on regional stability could also serve its long-term interests. The situation remains complex and unpredictable. While there is currently no concrete evidence that Israel is planning to target Pakistan, the geopolitical conditions could change rapidly. Both nations must remain cautious and seek channels of communication, even if they do not officially recognize each other. Dialogue, even if secret or unofficial, is always better than confrontation when nuclear-armed states are involved. In conclusion, the idea of Israel targeting Pakistan is more of a theoretical possibility than an immediate threat. But the fact that it is being discussed shows the level of mistrust and the potential for future tension. It is a reminder that global security is fragile and that diplomacy, understanding, and careful strategy are essential to prevent catastrophic conflict.